SaveTheSigs.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
Well, hello! Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Thursday on vaportrails.tv. This here is the Haze Hour, and I'm Dave Dawn, for anybody that doesn't know. I'm pretty sure that most people do, but, you know, who can tell, eh? It's one of those things. But you can see over there, look where it says Haze Hour. That's what this is. Quite a night tonight it's going to be. This morning, well, first of all, I should say, for those of you that are watching on video on demand, those that were live already know, Keith isn't with me tonight because, yet again, he's playing with his organ. He's using both hands and both feet on his organ, even as I speak. Apparently, it's got 3 manuals. Who knew? Who knew? But that's where he's at. He's doing Christmassy things. Christmas. You might notice, I don't know whether you will notice, let's try Dave Cam and see if it shows. Can you see what the ornaments are? Drip tips and manubrulators. It's all good. It's all good. I've got no idea which camera I'm looking into. Tonight he's going to be driven quite a lot by chat. Because what happened this morning was a parcel arrived from America. And not just from America, but from Evolve in America. So, I'm going to be showing you some new kit that nobody else has seen yet. And this is new kit that nobody else has seen, even though we've spoken about it. And I'm going to be experimenting with some of the new kit as we go through. Also, we're going to be having a look at, as Dave Kitson did on Sunday, at the bendy thing for the E-leaf iStick and the curve, and see whether it'll fit other things. So shout out, because there's 1 or 2 bits and bobs along here that we can try out. I've got a barrel load of new product as well to look at if we get around to doing that kind of thing, and it's all going to be good. And I've got a little bit of talking to do as well, some housekeeping and 1 or 2 bits of news to bring you that you might not otherwise have heard, or if you have heard, you'll have heard it on Twitter, and I might have 1 or 2 comments. And that'll all be after the titles. So, hello, good evening, and welcome to the Haze Hour. Forgive me giggling, but if you're watching this live, you'll know why I'm laughing. I've just seen Yoda 1970, otherwise known as Keith, in capital letters in chat, go, Haze Hour! Exactly the way Keith would. Thank you for that, Keith. That's fabulous. I love our chat. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They are without doubt the best chat on the face of the planet. You can all pat yourselves on the back. That was that. That's tickled me fancy, that has. You might have gathered. Right, while we're talking about fancy tickling, no, that's an entirely different show. Right, look, Scotland. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but a wee while back there was a consultation launched, if you like. I think that was what it was called, consultation, about e-cigs in Scotland. Now that's due to close early January of 2015, which is apparently next year. It's that close. We're nearly into next year. It's the 11th of December today. So what is it? It's not very long before it's next year. It's 20 days, in fact. before it's next year. 3 weeks today, it'll be next year. And the consultation closes very, very shortly after next year starts. Now, anybody from the UK can put their input. In fact, I think it's probably worldwide. You can put your input into the Scottish consultation, and it's available on the Scottish Government website. I am absolutely certain that somebody will drop the link into chat. I think there's one or two of our Scottish brethren are in, and I'm sure they can pass the link to any one of our moderators who, if you would be so good as to drop that in towards the end of the show, that would be brilliant. Go and bookmark it. I mean, there's no need to do it tonight, but do it, please. Go and answer the consultation, because Scotland's in parlous danger. There's all kinds of idiocy being going on up there. They're coming around, but they're coming around a bit slowly, shall we say. And it would be nice if we could kind of short-circuit that a bit and get a proper consultation reply going there from vapers. Because let's face it, when it comes down to expertise in vaping, you are the guys that have it. Not the academics and so on and so forth, because you're the guys that are doing it. So if you can find 5 or 10 minutes to go and fill the consultation in, I've already done it. Please go and do that, and that'll help the situation out enormously. I'm absolutely certain of that. So that's the first little bit. Second little bit, you may or may not be aware, but again, 3-4 weeks ago, Mark Pawsey, the MP for Rugby, announced that there was going to be a new all-party parliamentary group on e-cigs, and that gets launched next Wednesday at the Houses of Parliament, which is in London. Yeah, it's going to be on the terrace, and believe it or not, yours truly has had an invite. I'm not alone. So's Lorien, so's Sarah, and so's a few other people, including, I think, 1 or 2 professors, the names of which escape me at the moment, but they're well known to an awful lot of people. So yes, that's next Wednesday. So I'm going to be going down to London because when Mark Pawsey announced this on Twitter, I said, yeah, if you need any evidence, if you want anybody to come and talk to you, I'll come. And a few other people said as well. And it looks as though we've been contacted, and we're actually going to go and get to talk to the all-party parliamentary group specifically about e-cigs. Now, that's a good thing. That the whole notion that they've actually come up with this and decided that they're going to have a specific, it's not a committee as such, but it's a collection of MPs from all different political parties that have an interest in e-cigs. Some will be against, some will be for, and some will be on the fence. And the idea, as far as I'm concerned, is to take those that are against and on the fence and make them for. And I know we'll be backed up by a lot of people in academia, people like Professor Robert West and a whole load of others. I also know we'll get some opposition from certain other quarters, and it's our job to get down there and present the evidence properly. So I'm going to go down and do that. Kizzy says, get your best suit out, DD, and clean your trainers. How did you know I wore trainers all the time? I've got bad feet, that's what it is. Davey said it's scotland.gov.uk/publications/2014/10/5471. It's going to go into chat during the course of the show, and I'll try and get it into the description on the video on demand on YouTube as well. That will be around. Now, Leanna Lawless says she knew about that. London is round the corner, but she missed the tweet. You see, you've got to get onto Twitter and you've got to hit it every day and watch the retweets and stuff like that. And, you know, that's where all the information's coming from. It's good. It's all good. Where am I at? I'm trying to read this, and I don't normally try and read chat while we're doing things, but here we go. Max Drum says, I hope you won't get a set of muppets who will blatantly not listen to what you will be saying, as then there will be no point in them being there. There will. The point about it is, and think about this, for I don't know how long now, 30 years to my knowledge, we have been told certain things about cigarettes, some of which I am convinced are not entirely truthful. I'm choosing my words carefully here. And yet, if you repeat an untruth often enough, it becomes the perceived wisdom. So if these people that are currently against and closed-minded sit and hear the same thing time after time from vapour after vapour after vapour and academic after academic after academic that knows the truth about e-cigs, eventually it's going to sink in, I hope. But this is where everybody in the UK can help. We all have MPs. Those MPs may not be aware that all of this is happening, but you can tell them.
I'm sorry, I can't take in that many words at once.
That was Siri. You stupid woman. Yes. You've all got MPs. Write a letter to them or an email or go around and see them and tell them this thing is coming up. Ask them to attend. Ask them to become members of the all-party parliamentary group on e-cigs. And frankly, I don't care whether they're for, against or on the fence. I would just like as many of them to get there as possibly can, and I'm sure Mark Pawsey would like that as well. I think this is brilliant. I actually do think this could be a very good thing, because MPs are the legislature. The Department of Health is composed of civil servants. They advise, and then MPs tell them what to do. And if the MPs turn around and say to them, right, TPD, forget about it, it's not happening, then guess what? It's not happening. So I'm hoping we're going to get somewhere like that. That would be remarkably nice if we would. Now then, again, I'm trying to catch up on chat. I really should apologise for this, but yes. Mark Shaw has said one of the good things about this is that Mr. Pawsey has taken some of the power away from Ash, as this usually would be their gig. Yeah, the APPG on smoking and health is Ash's gig. This isn't. This is organised by an MP. So yes, I'm sure Ash will still have input, but they ain't running it, which is dead good. And Marco Van Basten, grand lad that he is, has said if you haven't done so already, you can find your MP at http://wibbly-wobbly-woo, and that's where to go, and you can do it. You can actually email your MP from there, so that's all good. What's this? She can't take it all at once, has she seen it? I don't know what that's about, Neil Ruff. And Max Drum said, in one respect, I hope this will put the PHE in their place. Leanna Lawless has said, I'm not going to read the first bit, but she says, would you want Michael Gove there? Yes, 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 I do. Seriously, the more MPs we can get to speak to, the absolute better it is, because we get to put our side across. And with the best will in the world, who are the biggest stakeholders in e-cigs? Seriously, who are the biggest stakeholders in e-cigs? If it's not you and me, who the hell is it? Whose lives are at stake here? Whose health is at stake here? Whose lifestyle is at stake here? Yours. Yours. Your lifestyle. My lifestyle. Your health. My health. It's all actually about us. And this is not us being selfish, because us is not just us as we are today. Us is the us that we can be further down the road. Now, I've got to be right about this, and I've got to explain myself properly here. I don't want anybody ever to think I've got a down on smokers. I have not. I was a smoker I've got a lot above, from the age of 8 until 5.5 years ago, and I'll be 60 next year. That's how you know you're getting old, by the way. You don't say you're 59, you say you'll be 60 next year. So work that out. Was it 46 years? 46 years a smoker, and for the last I don't know how long of those years, on 60 a day. I have no problem with people smoking. Never have had, and I never will have. But I want everybody to have the same opportunity that I've had. And that means e-cigs have got to be available to them. Whether they're Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4, it doesn't make any difference. They've got to have e-cigs available to them. They've got to be available to anybody that wants them, for whatever reason they might want them. And that is the us. That's the whole us. That's the stakeholder pattern. And I'm sorry I got into a little bit of a rant there, but you know I get passionate about these things. I can't help it. It's one of those things. So yes, as Sav has said, it doesn't matter if we know him or not, Lal, unless someone gets a chance to talk to him, he will never know what we have to say. She's exactly right. All hail the Sav, yet again, she's exactly right. Some of these MPs will not have been spoken to by constituents or people who are knowledgeable about e-cigs. Hopefully this APPG on e-cigs will allow everybody to put that right, so we can get the evidence in front of the whole of Parliament, because I'm firmly convinced that if all of the proper evidence that we have now had been put in front of Parliament 2.5 years ago, we would not see the TPD in the state it currently is. I am convinced of that. And yeah, so now we've got a chance to do something about it. We've got a chance to influence how it's all being implemented, and I think it's important that we do that. Mark Shaw has said, this is funny, I've no problem with smoking either, but he would love everybody to switch and put people like Chapman and Glance out of a job. Round of applause, big thumbs up, absolutely right. And that's nothing personal against either of those great worthies, but yes, I would like to see them on the breadline, quite frankly. I think they've been on the gravy train too long, and I think it's time e-cigs derailed the gravy train. This could be a step towards that. So I'm greeting that news, as you've probably gathered, with a great deal of excitement. And it's coming up to Christmas. So have a load of this. Yes, 'tis the season to be jolly, don't you know? So let's go to brighter things, although the APPG is a bright thing. And let's go to Close You Up You Can, and I'll show you what has flooded in. We'll go to medium Close You Up You Can first, and show you that packet there. Put it right in the middle, David. Can you see that? Can you see what it says? Nautilus BVC temperature sensing coils. They've come from Vapor Shark via Evolve. But these are specifically for use in DNA 40s. And, well, right, let's do some, it's almost an unboxing. I was going to do this completely live and not try them before the show tonight, but I got all excited and it all got the better of me. Here they are in their little blister pack. I'll take one out. I'll have to remember to put it back in. Try and do it all on camera, David. Sometimes I'm a clown. Right, there we are. Let's go into mega close You Up You Can now and see where we can get. Now, if I get the lighting right, you will see it says on there, Evolve TSC. I don't know whether you can see that very well at all. I'm trying to shade the light from it and get my fingers in the right position. Evolve TSC, and it is, look at that, I know you can see that, 0.3 ohms. This is an off-the-shelf 0.3 ohm Nautilus atomizer. 0.3 ohm, and filed Filed? No. Coiled with nickel. I'm sorry, I've just read what Max Drums just said in chat. You can go off some folk. DTR says a bit pricey then, 14 quid a box. I honestly don't know what price they're going to be in the UK. I really don't know. Leanna Lawless has said she wants a DNA 40 and those. Well, right, look, here's the thing. I've had the DNA 40 since I was across in Ireland, and during that period of time I would normally have recoiled the devices I was using probably twice, tend to recoil once a week, and I'm here to tell you I haven't had to recoil any of my devices. And you might have seen last night on Matt's show that we had a little bit of a vape off, just for a piece of daftness. And I was using this Dark Horse dripper. I might as well go to not so mega close you can. This is the beastie here, the Dark Horse dripper. And it's been giving it some hot licks. But if I take the top off and you have a look at that, all right, it's had some flavoured juice in it. I'll be absolutely honest about that. It has had some flavoured juice in. Let's go to mega close up and then you can see even better. But you can see the colour, all right? You would expect some discoloration on the coils, obviously. But when you press the button, look at the state of that. I mean, that is absolutely fine. I coiled this up when I got it, and I've been giving it some hot licks, just because I fancied giving it some hot licks, because I've been trying to get my head around this whole cloud chasing thing, and it is brilliant. Yes, Moonlit's getting ahead of where we are, because I'm going to show you all kinds tonight to do with DNA 40s and other things. But yes, you can't burn these damn things out. That was rather pleasant. I know it's not as dense as cloud chasers get, but in terms of where it's at, yeah. You know how with a normal coil, a normal off-the-shelf Nautilus or Kanga coil, if you get a couple of dry hits, everything starts to taste burny. That's not happening with these, I don't think. Now, let's start with the Nautilus. We'll start with the Nautilus, right? I have put one of the Nautilus coils, the temperature sensing coils, in this silo tank. Put it all on screen. And I have some flavoured juice in here. I know, it's me, but it is. It's flavoured juice. Let's put that out of the way and then you can see what's going on a little bit better. And you'll see at the moment that this is set at 16.4 watts. You'll also see that it's showing the 0.3 ohms, and you'll also see that I've got a temperature, press it again, of 400 Fahrenheit set. So what I'm going to do is this. I shall 5-click it, ding, 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 to lock it, and then press the two uppy downy buttons, and it says hold to change temp at an angle, and I'm going to take it down to 300 degrees. This is Fahrenheit. Press the button, that's it set, and then press the button again. All right, and then when you fire it, I'll try and show you if you can see. You can see, there you go, it whacks it in and it will run at whatever wattage it needs to run in order to get to the temperature that you're going to. And obviously it doesn't need a great deal of wattage to get to 300 degrees. But what does it vape like, I hear you cry? I should never read chat while I'm live. Yes, Moonlit says, Whip, it doesn't let the coil overheat when the wick is dry. Usually when you run out of liquid, the coil is free to get as hot as it likes, which is too hot for the wick. That's exactly right. I'm going to try and show you that. I'm going to try and vape that Dark Horse dry and then show you what happens. But anyway, we've got the off-the-shelf temperature sensing coil, that one, in this silo at 300 degrees. And it's not producing very much at all, as you can see. Let's go even closer. and then you can really see. Right, we're going to this one. Now you might have noticed, you'll see a little flash occurring down here. That's when it's reached its temperature. So at 300 degrees, what I'm getting is nothing in the way of vapour. And I'm sucking my plug out, but I can't normally talk vapour out, and there I just did. But you might see this flash. If it flashes 3 times, it means it's hit temperature. It's locked itself. Right, try again. So that was at 300 degrees. Let's ramp it up a bit. This is the fun part, I think. Again, to do that, 5 clicks, dunk, 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 to lock it. That's it, locked. And then you hold down the uppy downy button together, hold to change temp. Alright, and let's go up to 350 degrees. Press the fire button and then 5 clicks to unlock it. And it's running. Back to this camera, and again I'll hold it up so you can see. If you see it flash, then you'll know it's gone to temperature protection mode. Now num 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 num. Now that was nice. You would see it hit the temperature. It hit the temperature of 350 degrees, and then the DNA 40 wouldn't let the coil have any more power than that. It kept that temperature at 350 degrees, plus or minus 5 or 10, there or thereabouts. The thing is, the flavour suddenly started to ramp up. And it's producing not a vast amount of vapour, but enough so that next Wednesday when I'm on the train, for instance, I'll be able to sit there and just have a nice little vape to myself. I'm getting decent throat hit. It's not tearing the back of my throat out, but as you can see, there's not a fat lot of vapour escaping. In fact, I think this is a pretty good impersonation of Cat, because Cat doesn't part with vapour. Neither does Keith, come to that when I think about it. I'll try and do it like Keith does it. And that's really nice. Now, there's all kinds of questions going in here. Can you use stealth vape, no res wire? Leanna Lawless has asked that question. It has to be nickel. Nickel 200 is the wire that's being sold. It's as close to pure nickel as you will get. That's what you've got to use at the moment. If you were watching last week when we spoke with Brandon, they're looking at working out how to do the same with other wires, but with all of these, they've got to know that the construction, the compound, is identical for all of them. Look, I'll take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll go further into this, because it actually is fascinating. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
e-cigs.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
SaveTheCigs.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
Well, we're back in the room. I was busily chugging on this thing, trying to dry the wicks out to try and demonstrate how this all works. Moonlight's been saying this in chat, and it's actually right. There is a temperature below which no nasties are produced from the juice, and that's 280 degrees centigrade or 536 degrees in the Fahrenheit scale. So if you've got the temperature set on the DNA 40 to somewhere below that, then the likelihood is that, one, you're not going to produce any nasties, and two, and this is the important part, you're not going to char any cotton that you're using or any other what would normally be flammable wicking material. I'm just checking I was talking to the right camera. And I'm just trying to dry this coil out so that you can see. Give us a sec. Right, if I go onto my close-up cam now and we put this coil on there, you can see it's almost dry. Yeah? This one definitely, the top one, is dry as a camel's armpit. So if I press the button, I don't know whether you can, if I put something black behind it, you may be able to see. This is not going to work very well, David, but do what you can, son. Do what you can. Right. There we are, just so you can see anything that's coming off it. There's a faint wisp, right? A faint wisp. And if I turn the mod round, you'll see what's happening. Temperature protected. That flashes up 3 times. Let's press the button again. And look, can you see how it's reducing the wattage down to 3 to 4 watts, right? And if I bring it back in, you'll see there's next to nothing happening because that is dry. And you'll also see there's no charring there. If I put it straight onto you, on a dry wick, under normal circumstances, without temperature protection, those coils would glow, right? And they're not. Now if I get some juice, I've done this before, but I'll do it again. I'll just stand that there. Get some juice, and you'll see faint wisps, yes, just. But if I drip juice on, and you can see me thumbs on the button, look, there's the heat. All right, and you can see that straight away. Now, what that means is you're not going to char the cotton. Now if I put this back on and take a vape, there you go, no burnt taste, no burnt taste. So back to the off-the-shelf ones, and keep on experimenting, David. Why don't you? But check chat first. Vaporcator says, is the US ever going to go metric? Probably not. Why would they want to? They understand Fahrenheit. It's just not as easy. Now, Don MM has said, remember the DNA is American designed. The temperatures are in Fahrenheit, not centigrade. The temperatures were in Fahrenheit. Not the case now. Right. I did say I was going to be letting chat drive this, and I am. Let's go back to closely up you can, because these have flooded in, and let me try and show you what is involved with this DNA 40 board. The first thing you'll notice, this is the newest incarnation of it, and I have one of the first or second or third batch ones here. This is the first batch one, and you'll see that its display is soldered on. Just here you can see, right? It's soldered on as the display. With this new board, it's not, and in fact the displays that have been sent over are the big displays, and there it is. If I put the two side by side, and I'm not doing this very well, and I really should apologise, but there you go, I'm a klutz. Old display on the top, new display on the bottom. Look at the difference in size. Alright, and what happens is that display simply plugs into that little white connector on the board. It just plugs in one way or the other. I'll work out how, and I'll oh, it's that way up because the contacts are underneath. So you just insert it into there. What I'm considering doing, and I'm going to take my life in my hands here, what I'm considering doing is a conversion to a mod live on air from start to finish. No edits, not pre-recorded. I'm thinking about doing it live. If you fancy that, let me know, and I'll do that in the new year. But the new boards, and these are the new boards, will allow you to use centigrade. All you have to do is go down to 200 degrees, and at 200 degrees it drops into centigrade. Now actually I haven't checked whether these boards will do that. I'm going to give it a try, because I think this might be one of the boards that will do it. So again, let's go to, are we on close up you can? We are, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that locks it, and then hold both buttons down. Hold to change temperature. Alright, so we're going to go down. I don't know whether you can see very well. I'm going to go all the way down to 200. And at 200, no, this is not one of the boards that does it, but on the new boards, these boards that I've got, when that gets to 200 it goes into Celsius. I'm going to crank this one back up. And it's dead easy. Pick your temperature. I'm going to go for 450. Press the button, that's it selected, and then 5 clicks and you're back into working mode. So yes, that'll do for me. That's nice. So that's the new style DNA 40. That's the latest iteration of. One of these is going to go down to Gary Dibley, because I want Gary to have a play and see what he comes up with. I will do one live if you want me to. I might do a ZNA 50, we'll see. And I'm going to also do a conversion onto one of Cat and Sav's. So I'll film that one, but I'll do one live on a show if that's what you want. Right, where are we doing here? Let's see what chat's got to say, otherwise if I don't catch up I'll get lost. Don MM says if you can get Canthal to burn you've got a metal fire. Best thing to do with metal fires is to be somewhere else. That's right. But as you saw with that Dark Horse coiled up with nickel on a DNA 40, no charring of the cotton. I could take that wick out and put brand new cotton in and it wouldn't char it, and that's exactly what's been happening, and that's what's happening with these new coils. Now, just because I can, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to put on one of the Kanga coiled, and this is in a Mega. It's a Jenny Tank Mega. Go to close up you can, David, you fool. Right, there we are, Jenny Tank Mega. You all recognise those, you've seen them before. It's got the Kanga coil in, that's it screwed in, and here are the very beasties. Alright, now it had occurred to me that you could get into trouble here by not being able to recognise the difference between what is a nickel coil and what is not a nickel coil. But look what they've done. I'm colourblind, but can you see the difference there? This one in my left hand is either blue or green, and this one in my right hand is clear, so they're colour coded. And the Kanga ones are no different. You'll see, I'll pull this one out the bottom because we are going to have an experiment. You'll see at the bottom of that, I don't know whether you can see it very well. Get it really close up you can, David. Yes, you can see there that that is blue around the bottom. Yeah, and that's what shows you the difference between them. The blue or green or whatever colour it happens to be. It's one of the two. So the idea I've got is to try and vape this thing dry during the course of the show. Actually, let's short circuit that, shall we? Alright. You will see, because I'm going to do it on closely up you can, what I'm about to do. Nappy on the table. Big closely up you can. Bottom comes off. Like so. Alright, and there's the coil that's in it, and there's the juice. I've emptied the juice out, so there's very little juice in there now, and we'll put that. That reminds me of last Saturday night for some reason. Where'd I put them on? There we are. We'll put it back on, and I need to remember to wind this down a little. Well, I'm not. Let's have a look what I was set at. Look, it's asked me, is it a new coil? Same down, new coil up. You see that? It's not showing it massively well. I'll press up. Right, 16.5 watts, and you can see this is at 0.18 ohms. Go really close up you can, Dave. 0.18 ohms, 16.5 watts. That's where we're running at. Alright, and you can see what's happening. Temperature protection gets hit. Right, let's vape it dry, shall we? I'm trying to read chat as well at the same time. Oh, it looks as though chat would like me to do the build from scratch. It'll take a whole show. I would have done it tonight, but yes, it takes prep, and I've only just replaced the tip on my soldering iron, and seriously, I'd have burned myself to death. I'm going to have to practice, but well, no, I'll just do it live. Probably be, as I say, a ZNA. What else have we got? Moonlit says I could probably wire up a DNA 40 without much issue, but I really suck at anything involving cases or boxes, so I'd probably end up wrapping it in cardboard instead of a metal plastic box. I know exactly what you mean. I say what I'm going to do, I think, is probably a ZNA 40 or a ZNA 50 converted. And where is it? Come here, you little sod. There you are. It'll probably be this one. But what I'm going to have to do, close you up you can, what I'm going to have to do, because that's the size of the display and this is the new style display, I'm going to have to route this out. That means getting the Dremel out with a little burr thingy tool or whatever. So yeah, why not do it from scratch? I'll have all the tools on the desk. There'll be noise, there'll be smoke, there'll be burnt fingers, it'll be different. I'll put that out the way, otherwise I'll think it's DNA 40. Get back up there, you swine, lovely jubbly. Right, so I'm going to try and vape this dry and see what happens. Graham Gord's 10, yeah, Graham Entwistler's just said, Moonlit, just buy a DNA clone and do a transplant. That's exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm not clever. Very boring, said DD made exactly way itself. It might not have been alone. It's been a funny day today. Leanna Lawless has said, I wonder if a board would just slide in a tube. No good. Tube made for neg, resting on tube, pause through it. Yes, you can. It's already been done with, I want to call it the Wizard's Sleeve, but it's called the Wizard's Apprentice, I think. The Wizard's Apprentice Evolved that Mark Bugg's done has DNA 20s and 30s in at least, and I think they're coming up with a DNA 40 version. It's in titanium though, and I've got no idea how you go on with that. Bruni says he saw Subhome Kanga tank last night with a choice of built or RDA 5mm, and he's sorry he can't remember which site. Yeah, I'm going to be looking at those as soon as I can get them. And people are talking about glue guns and soldering irons. Maplin's appears to be the place to go for that. So yes. Sam Monroe says just get Dibbers to do it. Safety first, Dave. Leanna Lawless says I'll teach you DD. Yeah. Fine. Lovely. I tell you what, Leanna, get on the train, come on up, you and I'll sit and do it together. Fair offer? I'm not paying for your ticket though. There will be blood. It will be a good show. We'll do it. Whoops. Somebody picked it up. Yes, the Wizard's Apprentice, not the Wizard's Sleeve. That's something entirely different. That's a range of juice, apparently. According to Dave Kitson, anyway. And apparently they've got a. That's the Wizard's Sleeve is pure glycerin. They've got a sub brand called Clown's Pocket. Adverts.
Safersix.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
RY4 Radio.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of vapetrails.tv.
Safersix.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.
And we're back in the room. I've just been reading chat during the course of the adverts because I thought I'd better go at the adverts rather than go down the road I was going. Apparently, Leanna Lawless is trapped by a cat. Look, I tell you what, we'll get Michael Gove to cat sit for you. You come up and we'll do it together. Seriously, if you can get up, come up. I'd love it. I would love it. Come up and we'll do it together. The offer's there. If you can find a way, it's there. Simple as good as. Right, here we go. I'm sucking on this thing like a good one. And it's starting to wimp out. It's nearly dry. Can we call that dry? Can we? Can we call it dry? Can we call it dry? we're at that stage. I mean, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's go to close your uppy cam. Get the mouse out of the way, David. Close your uppy cam. There it is. I'm going to crank it right up. Alright? All the way up to 40 watts. Brave man, Dawn. Brave man. And let's go back to Dave cam and vape on it. Even that 40 watt setting, again, if I go kind of side, no, you can't see very well on that one, go to the other one, David. On this one, you'll be able to see, when it changes, you'll see, I'll point at it now, there you are, that's temperature control. When you see that, it's hit temperature control. I didn't change the temperature, I've just changed the wattage right up. It's supposed to give you more vape, it does actually. That's dry, isn't it? It's dry. Let's see if we can show that it is dry by putting some juice in. Do it on camera, David, it's always better. Yeah, look at that. I mean, you can see, look at it. Common camel's armpit, as in there's no juice in it. So I'm just going to put a few drops in here. It's not going to need much. And what I'm also going to do, because I didn't just get off the gravy boat, I was going to say something politically incorrect there, I'm just going to put some down the chimney. And that'll wet that wick off quite nicely, thank you. So stick it back in the mud. The mud. Good grief. The genie tank. Give it a little wipe with the cling towel, because my hands are all sticky and claggy and slippy. Shove it back on the device, as you can see. Blum blum dee. God rest ye judgmental men, let nothing hurt a man. Press the button, and you can see, right? See, we'll get any juice. It's glugged. It's glugged through. Try and let it get through. Yeah, I think that's going to work. What on earth has happened here? It's all gone to hell in a handcart. Never mind. Right, back to wide. No, back to that cam. Right, now let's try it. And I think we can see that is now starting to wick. Yes, indeed it is starting to wick, which is very, very good. I think it's very, very good. Right. Well, they're talking about cats, you know. I don't know why they're talking about cats. I'm just going to... Yes, Yoda said he'd say it was dry, which it is, it was. And you put some juice in, and there you go. All of a sudden, it's working as designed, if you like. Sav's just said, the cat landed in the breakfast this morning. It didn't end well for the toast or the cat. Yes, no, it wasn't cat, it was Sav's cat. It's not the same thing. Yes. We're all talking. See what you've done, Leanne Lawless. Everybody's talking about cats now. Shocking, that is. And the way Mark, what? Silent79 said his cat brings in mice and makes chase after them. It's not the correct order of things. But Marco van Basten has said the weirdest present he was ever brought by the cat was a dead guinea pig. You're all mad. Mad. Just mad. Is what you are. Right. Here's what's coming up over the next week. Where is it? I've lost it now. Here's what's coming up over the next week. And we're back in the room. Echo. Yes, I've got a TV remote. The sound of the broadcast comes out on the TV over here so that I can monitor what's going on when the adverts are on. And during the course of that little what's coming up this week thing, it wicked through, the juice got to the coil, and now there you go. And that wasn't a lung inhale, that was an ordinary inhale, and a very, very short one, as they say in Sweden. So, as you can see, tastes nice and all. It works the way it's designed. The off-the-shelf coils work the way they're supposed to work. It does what it says on the tin. I know, as Brandon said last week, there were issues with the first and second, maybe with the second runs. We'll find out what's happening with this third run and the detachables as we get into building them. I think it's all going to be fun. They're still talking about cats. Apparently, cats are good for controlling venomous reptiles, but napalm is better. I think I would agree with that. And Leanna Lawless says, you either love or hate Marmite. I'm a hater. Yes, I don't like Marmite at all. Never have. In fact, I'm with Don MM, but I'm not going to read what you said, Don MM, because I could really upset a lot of people. And I don't want to do that. Yes, so, as I said, it does what it says on the tin. It's really good. And I'm looking at the clock and I see that we are fast running out of time, and I didn't get to the bendy thing on the iStick to try it on other things. I will. Next Thursday will be my last show before Christmas. I'll report back from what's happened at the APPG and let you know who was there, what was said, if I'm allowed to. Some of it might have to be off the record, and that's fine too. I'll try and get round to the E-Leaf iStick next Thursday night, and then a week on Tuesday coming will be our Christmas show. We'll be taking Marco's slot, and that'll be the Christmas show, so don't forget to tune in for that. I need to say a great big thank you to Sav and to Kat for, as ever, holding my hand throughout all of this, as they always do, doing the production side of this. They keep me on time and stop me from swearing and stop me from getting nervous like a bride on her wedding night. No, I'm not going to enter into the chat about cats and the other names for them, but Leanna Lawless, the offer is there. If you want to come up, bring your pussy with you, pet. It's difficult to travel without them, I suppose. It's been a pleasure to share the last hour with you. I hope you found it useful. I know it was a bit seat of the pants and it's been a bit all over the place and possibly not planned as well as it could have been, but I hope I've been able to show you that we are actually going to have an off-the-shelf solution to dry hits, to flavour changing, because you know I'm not a great flavour hound, but changing the temperature that these off-the-shelf coils are running at in off-the-shelf atomizers, it's given me everything that I would want. I was going to put the gigantomizer on there with the 2 Kanga coils in. We didn't get round to that. I'll do that next Thursday as well, and we'll see how that goes. But a big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your lives to come and share it with us here on VTTV every night, as you do. You've got no idea how good it makes me feel. Right, with that, I suppose I'd better sign off and say good night. But don't forget, vape on, vape hard, and don't let the bastards grind you down. Until I see you next week, bar humbug. Look after each other, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the flip side. Until next week, from all of us here, thanks for watching. Good night.
supercigs.co.uk, sponsors of the Haze Hour.